once you have the van, you can learn all the skills required to build it out.
These shelves are actually original to the ambulance.
So for work, we are commercial butterfly and moth breeders.
I would say if you have a dream of doing it, just do it. Welcome to the van-bulance.
I'm Jachus.
I'm Gabriella. Come on in. This is our full-size sink. We wanted this big of a sink because it's easier to wash dishes, easier to let them dry, and we love cooking, so we just wanted to have a big space. This is our outdoor camping stove. We have 2 burners and we have an oven. It runs on propane that's under the sink. This counter was actually a coffee table, and so we cut it up and we put it around and made sure that this fit around there. We love growing plants, so we have these lights that actually help grow them. We have all kinds of spices. Some of them kind of died, but you know, we use them in our cooking all the time. We love spices. We love cooking really fun foods. The jars are just spices and things that we love to. Obviously love making popcorn. We use the coconut oil for that, and it's just super convenient. The lids are just screwed up there, so we just twist it and then it just comes off, so it's super easy. This is our knife rack. We got this from my sister. It's magnet, obviously, and then my brother actually made these knives, so they're super special to us. These switches are original to the ambulance. These 3 actually work for the lights and things, and then these 2 ones are vents that were original to the ambulance, but we never use them because they just draw way too much power. And then there's one that goes to the pump for the sink. So this is our fruit hammock. We saw a bunch of van lifers have fruit baskets and we were like, we need to get one of those. So we love filling it up with yummy food. We have our storage back here for wines, or I use it for, we have oils and we have vanilla there, and then I have some plants up there because it looks really cute. So we actually have this drawer underneath the stove. We keep all of our dishes. We love cooking, so that's why we have so many pots and pans and things. But my husband actually built these drawers, and we used to have a cabinet here, which we hated because we had to like shove everything into there, and so now it just opens up very nicely. These shelves are actually original to the ambulance. They had like sliding glass like doors, so we just took those out and put the dowels there, and it works great. The cloth baskets work really well too because you can fold them down or you can just have them up like that, and it works great to get into your stuff. One thing I would want to do is replace the backsplash because it's gotten yellow here, and we honestly wish that we would have gone with like a darker grain so it's not just white, you know. We are in our dining room. This is our bench, and it has storage inside. We actually pull this off and pull out this drawer and put it on top to make a second bench. And then our table is actually under here, so we just pull it out, and that's where we eat every day. Under the bed, we have all of our storage. For our clothes, we have a junk drawer. We also have Jachus's little bug drawer here. And then behind here, we have our laundry cabinet, so we just shove all of our laundry back there. We also have like toilet paper and paper towels and stuff there too. So we are in our bedroom. So this is a full-size mattress. It is about that thick. We actually had to cut out part of the mattress so it can fit around this wall, so it overhangs a little bit, which is nice. It gives us lots of space. We have all this storage above here. I have my jewelry and like random things, and then we have our charging station over here where we charge our phones, and we have like an electrical bag with all of our extra cords and things. We actually got this mattress after we had the ambulance for like a year. Before we had just like camping like air mattresses that we used, and then we had like this gel pad that went on top, and it was so lumpy. So we're just like, let's just do it. Like, let's just bite the bullet and just get a nice mattress. I'm only 5'2", so I fit perfectly. He's like 6'2", so we wanted a space that would be long ways, so we didn't have to take up room sleeping the other way. So he fits perfectly. He actually has extra space, which is great. One of my favorite things about our bedroom is we can actually slide our computer up here, And so then we can have like cinema nights and like chill. And then we also have this here so we can put our phone there and watch like YouTube videos, which is great. So, and this is just a cozy space. Like we just love hanging out here and just being cozy when it's super cold out. So.
We purchased our rig 3 years ago, and we converted it in about 3 months' time and moved into it. We lived in here full time now for 2 years. And we initially didn't convert this with any money, so we had basically converted everything for free. We were way under 10 grand, including the price of the truck, our initial build. Once we moved into here, we started adding some fancy features, all the expensive stuff. Now we're still sitting under 15 grand for our entire rig, everything included. So we actually purchased our ambulance for 4 grand on Facebook Marketplace. It's a 7.3 liter diesel. It only had 100,000 miles on it. So as an ambulance, people oftentimes don't know what to do with them. This guy who had owned it previously had intentions to use it as a work truck. He was a flooring contractor, and his company basically told him, absolutely not. You can't drive an ambulance up to our clients. You gotta go and get yourself a standard white van. And so he sat on it for 2 years and couldn't move it. We came along. He only wanted 5 or 6 grand for it, and we offered him 4. He said, I just want it on my driveway, so we drove it away.
As a kid, I always wanted to travel around the US. I wanted to have a bug car and a scamp. And then you always wanted to travel and look for bugs. So we're just like, we should just find something that we could just live in together after we get married. And
yeah, we were having the conversation. We were like, you know, we weren't going to be able to go and travel and fulfill our dreams after we got married. And then we're like, wait a second, we could just go and do van life. Let's build out a van together.
Yeah, there's no reason not to.
So that started the search right away. We started looking for a van, and the vans were really pricey at the time, or still are. They're expensive. And so these alternative vehicles kind of caught our eye. And within 1 week, we had actually found this ambulance for sale and had test driven it and everything. And we, yeah.
It was very spontaneous.
It was a very spontaneous.
We were looking, and then like 3 days later, we bought one.
All right, now we're actually on the flip side from the kitchen, and this is our door down here. A lot of people notice that's very short. We have to duck in and out, but after 2 years, we've gotten very used to that habit of sitting down, putting on our shoes, and jumping out and in. And what it gains us is all this space above the doorway. So this is actually a table that we can flip down by pulling up these pins, and the table flips all the way down, becomes a nice desk space. It's mostly my workspace, actually. I can pull up a stool, and I've designed it so that's my height. I'm a little taller than average human, so I can work comfortably at this desk, whereas my wife can work comfortably at the table. And we could also pull the wood completely off the hinges. So that actually drops to this spot down here. We have 2 real ledges, which the wood becomes the extension of our bench seat. It is, we put cushions on it, and it basically becomes a big old couch where friends can sit around. We pull out the table, we can play games, and we can actually fit a lot of people in here. So for work, we are commercial butterfly and moth breeders. We have a butterfly farm. We commercially produce and export butterflies for exhibiting, large releases, and for the dendrite stock industry. So we raise a bunch of different types of butterflies and moths. We actually have a website, designfordiscovery.org, where we sell our moth pupa. It's a great educational experience for kids in classrooms. We have one up here, actually, that is alive. So I always tell people you can shake and you actually feel the pupa rattling in there. And sometimes they'll even wiggle back. So we have these actually being shipped out to classrooms all around the country. And kids are told to watch it. And one day, normally in March, that moth will pop out of the pupa and be the largest moth in North America. And it's one of the favorite experiences of the school year. Up in this area is actually where I throw a lot of my little collection. I collect seeds on the road, and I keep some butterflies and caterpillars and flashlights. Mostly my stuff here. My wife gives me a little bit of space to keep my junk. And we store some books. These are my field guides. And the cabinets are a really useful space to throw stuff. So alongside the doorway, we actually installed a full-size mirror, which looks great, but in reality, we oftentimes hang our coats and such on these hooks. So it's very rarely used. But jumping out the door, we oftentimes sit down on the step to put on our shoes, and you can kind of turn to the mirror and, dress your hair up and stuff, All right, so now we're actually facing the cab. We left a passageway into our cab to easily jump into our driver's seat. And right above this doorway, we have our spice rack, which is probably one of the most noticeable features of our build. It gives us easy, quick access to all of our favorite spices that we use on a regular basis. And alongside our spice rack is my favorite seat of the house, a hammock chair that clips up to the ceiling. And this is where I normally sit in the daytime while I'm chilling. We have behind the hammock here our postal mailbox, which is very difficult to get mail in, but somehow we manage. And we actually have a electrical cabinet that we kind of did not have the guts to remove for obvious reasons. It remains our ambulance electrical cabinet. So that actually separates the living space from the cab space. Over here on the other side of our spice shelf, we actually have a cabinet, but inside the cabinet, we've mounted our diesel heater. So here's our little control panel, and down here is our output for the hot air. So our diesel heater is extremely efficient, and it heats up this small, tiny space actually too much. So a lot of people ask us, oh, are we staying warm in Wisconsin when it's really, really cold? We actually stay a little too warm. We're normally actually venting our fan, our max air fan, while we're also running our heater. So one of the things that we're going to do soon is install a 2 kilowatt diesel heater, which hopefully will actually run a little bit cooler and keep the space warm without blasting us keeping us too hot. Okay, now we're in the cab, and we have kept the main part of the cab as basic and simple as we possibly can, because we actually do a lot of stealth camping. So the few things that we do throw up here in the cab normally come down at night. The pantry is located directly behind the 2 seats here, and actually goes all the way up to the ceiling. So we have lots of storage space for our canned goods and pantry items. We have a fresh water tank sitting right behind the driver's seat. This is our way of drinking fresh water. We can grab the 7-gallon tank, bring it to Walmart, Publix, any of the grocery stores, and fill it up and stick it back here on the shelf. Underneath me is our ice cold refrigerator and freezer. We have a dual zone. We have the ability to open our lids from both ends and also pop them completely off, which is convenient because while we're sitting up here in the cab, driving down the road, my wife can go from her side and grab a snack. I can open up my side, grab a snack, and we use this as our armrest, which is really nice. So on one of our trips, we met a cool woodworker, and they invited us back to their house, and we actually built this cup holder in the front seat, which was a luxury item to us at the time because we had spilled a lot of coffees and water cups without having any proper place to store our beverages while we're driving. So in one way, we're glad that we have a pantry separated from our living space. It gives us a storage space that doesn't have to be always very neat and tidy, but it also is taking up a lot of our living space. So if we didn't have these 2 cabinets on either side, we probably would have had a lot more open space, but it also wouldn't have given us as much storage. So it's kind of a twofer.
We would love to be tiny for another 2 to 3 years, I think. But I don't think we're ever gonna have if we ever bought a house, I don't think we're ever gonna have a big house. We would love to build little tiny houses to rent out on property if we buy property. But we would love to stay small and have tiny houses.
As long as we possibly.
Yeah, I don't think if we ever have kids, we thought about putting a rooftop tent on the ceiling so we can throw them up there, or having just a little tiny house with 3 bedrooms and super, super small. I would say if you have a dream of doing it, just do it. It's hard to start and actually take that initial jump, but it's so worth it. You get to be free and you get to travel and you get to go anywhere you want.
if you question your abilities to do a certain skill or be able to build out a van, it's the necessity of an issue or problem that causes you to learn that skill. You know, once you have the van, you can learn all the skills required to build it out.
And also there's like always people who know how to do things. So if you have friends or family, like invite them to help you build your tiny house.
Welcome to the outside of our ambulance. This is our short load door from outside, and behind it we actually have a tall skinny cabinet that we like to keep our tall items like nets, fishing poles, longboards, and at the bottom of the cabinet is where we installed our diesel heater. Underneath we got the diesel heater coming out, our muffler and such. We have a lot of compartments on this ambulance box. That's one of the primary benefits of an ambulance. On top we have a WeBoost that amplifies our cell signal. Because our box is aluminum and extremely thick, we found that we actually had almost zero signal all the time inside when we could have full bars outside. So installing the WeBoost let us have the signal basically amplified, and getting the signal inside this thick box was a life-changing piece of equipment. We also have our solar up there. We have just over 500 watts of solar, which isn't technically enough on the shortest days of the year, but for 99% of the time, it charges way more than what we use in a day. All right, on the side of our ambulance, we have an outdoor table, flips down. We have two little hooks, and that becomes our serving space where we can put our taco fixings and anything that we're doing outside. This becomes a very handy table. Moving around, we have more storage space. This is where we keep our shoes and our snorkeling gear and coats. We also keep our chairs in this tall one. We did cut this cabinet in half for fitting the bed up here, but this would have been the oxygen compartment, and it fits two chairs, folding chairs, perfectly. Welcome to the garage. We have a 55-gallon water tank underneath here, and on top we actually keep two inflatable paddle boards, and alongside we have extremely long, deep storage for storing paddles and any equipment. We have a tool bag underneath here. We do not have a shower on our rig, but we do have a hose right here that we can turn on and spray off our feet or wash our hair. So we like to use this after going to the beach. Moving around to the other side of the ambulance, we have our tool cabinet. This has all the knickknacks of random tools that you might need to work on the road. Got my little drawers pull out down here. We're able to smash that cabinet into the bottom of this one. And we also had to cut this cabinet in half in order to fit our mattress on top. All right, this is the back side of our sink and composting toilet. So we actually have our propane tank right here for easy access. I can pull this in and out without having to drag it through the house. And when we do have a bucket in here for our composting toilet, we can access that from the outside as well. We also have easy access to the garbage, which is on the other side of the propane tank. And our odds and ends of our chemical closets actually sit up here on top of the toilet shelf. All right, underneath this cabinet, we have the battery drawer that came with the ambulance. So we actually did install lithium-ion batteries, but when I did that, I kept the lead acid battery bank that existed. So we have 412 amp hours of lead acid and 412 or 24, I forget, of lithium ion. We use the SOC batteries, the SOK brand. That is basically wired up in a unique way. If you know those boat dual zone battery banks, where you can go battery bank 1, battery bank 2, well, we can switch our DC or AC system individually to either run off of our lead acid battery bank or our lithium ion battery bank. So the lithium ions are installed inside to keep them warm, but sometimes in the winter, because they're installed on the back side of our cabinet, they're not warm enough. And so when they stop working, we can actually use and revert back to our lead acid battery bank, which runs fine in the wintertime. So we are commercial butterfly breeders. We have a butterfly farm in Wisconsin, and we do reside in Wisconsin for most of the year, or most of the summer, that is. In the winter times, we are completely free. So we have the ability to travel all over the United States. A lot of our travels actually end up coinciding with work in a way. So we can meet a lot of people in the industry that we need to be connected up with. And the people that are helping us down here in Florida, we're actually partnered with farms that we start our whole breeding operation a little bit early in the spring. And we are able to bring our breeding operation of butterflies up to Wisconsin in the summertime. You can support our business. It's Designed for Discovery. We have a website, designfordiscovery.org. We sell moth pupa of the largest species in North America for educational experiences and hobbyists. We also do butterfly releases, so large butterfly releases for weddings, memorials, funerals, all that. And exhibiting as well. We exhibit butterflies. So if you know of any exhibit opportunities for us, we love to educate the public on the butterfly industry. Yeah.
Yep, we have van-bulance Life on Facebook and Instagram, so check us out over there.
We also have the Design for Discovery on Instagram and Facebook, and van-bulance Life is van-bulance_life. We love living tiny. We love the ambulance lifestyle. We love being able to explore. We love to be able to experience the world from various perspectives. And this is simply a tool that we use to get out there and see the world and experience everything that we possibly can. Thanks for checking out our tiny house, guys. We'll see you on the road.